Fáilte, uicha hamna, darklings. I hope your pumpkins are carved and your cauldrons are stirred, because the spooky season is upon us. And ghouls, do I have a freak show for you. With the Halloween season upon us, my fellow creatures of the night, on this channel we plan to celebrate. So join me, darklings, as we creep on into our first ever Spooktober. It was 7 p.m. and I had just got done with my evening class. I was tired and hungry and couldn't wait to get home. But it would be a while before I could taste Mum's delicious pot roast. Yeah, I'm still living at home, although I'm in college, because my car was being repaired in the shop. So I had to take the bus home. I was wearing my favourite outfit, just a tank top, distressed jean shorts, and flip-flops. I was shocked at how cold it was as I walked out the building. Where I live, it very rarely gets cold in October. There must have been a strong cold front. It was my fault for not checking the weather forecast, but it had been a super busy week. I had 2 tests and a paper due. It was still warm when I left the house in the morning, and even when I walked between classes earlier, I had been bringing a light jacket with me when I had evening class, as it could get a little chilly at night. But this was downright cold. I wasn't sure how much the jacket would help, but I put it on and started walking to the bus stop. Not only was it cold, but foggy as well, and I was shivering despite wearing the jacket. I passed several houses with Halloween decorations. The flickering jack-o'-lanterns looked really spooky in the foggy night. I finally got to the bus stop. I had like 10 minutes before the bus arrived, so I sat in the shelter. Meanwhile, my exposed legs and feet were freezing. There was no one else there, which was unusual. Traffic was lighter than normal too. Many people must have decided to stay home and stay warm. Suddenly, I saw something. Someone walking on the sidewalk towards the bus stop. Through the thick fog, all I could see was that it was the figure of a child. As it got closer, I could see it was a little girl. She was walking by herself, and she was in a tank top and shorts, just like me. But she had no jacket on. What the fuck? She was walking very slowly, like she wasn't sure where she was going. When she was within a few feet from the bus shelter, I noticed something else. She was barefoot. Now, I love walking around barefoot too, but not in that kind of weather. She stopped as she got within a few steps of me. I could clearly see her face now. She was about 7 or 8 years old. She was very pretty, with a rather messy, long, dark hair, and bangs that partially covered her right eye, just like mine. With the clothes she was wearing and everything, she actually looked like a kid version of me, but her complexion was rather pale, and her eyes kind of dark and sad. I was still bewildered as to why she was there by herself, dressed like that. "Hi, sweetie," I greeted her. She stood still and looked at me but didn't say a word or smile. "My name is Lynn. What's yours?" I asked her with a smile, hoping to get a response.
"Jenny?"
she replied very softly, while bringing her fingers to her mouth and starting to suck on them. "Hi, Jenny. Aren't you cold? Here, you can wear my jacket." I was taking off my jacket, but she shook her head and said,
"No."
Again, I was surprised. "So, what are you doing here by yourself?"
"I want to go home."
"Where's home?" I asked her, and again she shook her head. "Do you live here in the city?"
"No, over there."
she replied, pointing towards the mountains. I live on the other side of the mountains, so she could be talking about my town or the neighbouring one. Where's your mom and dad?
Mom and Dad got hurt. They took them in a big car.
Once again, I was shocked. It sounded like she was describing an accident where her parents got hurt and were taken away by ambulance. But they probably missed her, or she wandered off from the scene, and now she was left here by herself. I thought I had better call the police. Hold on. Okay, Jenny. I'm gonna call for help, I told her as I turned to the other side and reached for my backpack to get my phone. With phone in hand, I turned back, but she wasn't there. Fuck. Where could she have gone in that split second? No wonder people didn't see her earlier. I panicked. I called out her name and walked out of the shelter and looked all over for her. Jenny? Jenny? Where are you? But there was no answer or any sign of her. I was flustered. If something were to happen to her, I would be devastated. Then something occurred to me. Could she be a ghost? After all, she looked kind of pale, and she didn't feel cold. The thought sent a chill down my spine in that already freezing night. I decided to call the police anyway. I was about to dial when my bus arrived, so I thought I would do it later. The buses don't run that often in the evenings. If I missed this one, the next one would be 2 hours later. The bus driver looked at my bare lower limbs and smiled. I smiled back and walked towards an empty seat. I sat by the window and put my backpack on the floor just in case someone needed to sit next to me. I couldn't get my mind off Jenny. The bus started to move, and I tried to look back out the window, but it was too dark, and all I saw was the reflection of the inside of the bus. I was going to get my phone when suddenly I saw something in the reflection. There was someone sitting next to me. How was that possible? I definitely would have seen anyone sitting down. Their head was covered by my body, so I couldn't see their face. So it must be someone short. My heart beat faster as I slowly turned my head towards the seat next to me to see who it was. Oh my God, it was Jenny. She was sitting there, quietly sucking on her fingers. Startled, I screamed and jumped up, scaring all the passengers and the driver. All heads turned toward me. Thinking there was an emergency, the driver pulled the bus over and walked towards my seat, but Jenny had disappeared once again, and I was left there looking like an idiot. Or a loco.
You okay, miss?
Asked the driver. Well, yeah, I'm so sorry. I just saw a little girl sitting next to me. A girl that I met at the bus stop and then disappeared right before I boarded the bus. I replied, trying hard to regain my composure.
A little girl? Did anyone see a little girl on this bus?
Asked the driver, looking at the other passengers. Everyone shook their heads and said no.
You're a college student, right?
He asked as he looked back at me. Uh-huh.
Been a long day?
Yeah. It's been a long week, actually. I'm so sorry, I replied, feeling really embarrassed.
I understand. I have a kid in college, too. Take it easy now,
he said as he walked back to the driver's seat. Some of the passengers smiled sympathetically, while a few others laughed and shook their heads. I was embarrassed. I knew what I saw. I wasn't imagining it, and now I was fucking scared. The closest bus stop to my house was several blocks away. What if I saw Jenny again there? I know what you may be thinking. You're scared of a cute little girl? But at that point, I didn't even think she was human. At least, not anymore. So I called my dad and asked him if he would pick me up at the bus stop. Hey, Dad, I'm on my way home. Can you pick me up at the bus stop, please?
Why? What's wrong, Angel?
He has always called me that since I was a little girl.
Is it too cold outside?
Yeah, but I'm also fucking scared, Dad. Unlike Mom, Dad tolerated my potty mouth.
What happened?
I'll tell you later. But can you pick me up? I'm like 15 minutes away.
Is somebody trying to hurt you or something? Should we call the police?
Oh, no, nothing like that. I think I saw a ghost, but it's a long story.
Okay, Angel. I'll see you in a bit. Bye.
He sounded relieved, and so was I. Dad was already waiting in his car, with the hazard lights flashing when I arrived.
Take care now. Have a good night,
said the driver as I stepped down. I thanked him and ran forwards towards my dad's car.
Have you been reading ghost stories or watching horror movies again?
Asked Dad after I finished telling him what happened. Jesus, Dad! I've been so fucking busy studying for 2 tests and working on a paper these past 2 weeks. I haven't had time to read stories or watch movies. He just chuckled, which kinda irked me, 'cause he wasn't taking me seriously. He was still treating me like a little girl. But I was thankful I didn't have to walk all the way home in the cold and foggy night, with the possibility of being followed by a ghost. I decided to go to bed a little earlier, but before that I wanted to see the weather forecast so that I knew how to dress the next morning. So I turned on the TV to watch the 10 o'clock news. Right before the weather, there was a report of a fatal accident that took place around 6 p.m. earlier. It happened right around the corner from the bus stop where I met Jenny. It involved a young couple and their 8-year-old daughter. The girl died instantly, and her parents were taken to the hospital in critical condition. My jaw dropped, and I had goosebumps all over. I also cried. Fast forward 2 weeks to last year's Halloween night. I went to my boyfriend's apartment as he was hosting a Halloween party there. I dressed up as Samara from The Ring. The weather had warmed back up and it was quite balmy that evening, so I decided to go in bare feet as Samara was a barefoot character. I had a swell time at my boyfriend's, scaring all the trick-or-treaters. They screamed and I giggled. It was almost midnight when I got back home and pulled my car into the garage. The house looked dark. Everyone must have gone to bed. My feet were quite dirty, so I had to wash them off before entering the house. There's a faucet right outside the garage, making it quite convenient. I was startled as I turned around after washing my feet and saw someone standing in the driveway. It was a little girl. A late trick-or-treater. At that hour, all by herself. That was odd, I thought. She walked closer, and then I recognized her. It was Jenny. She looked exactly the same as she did the last time I saw her. Messy, long dark hair, pale face, dark eyes, tank top, shorts, and bare feet. I froze and put my hands over my mouth. I wanted to scream, but I couldn't.
Trick or treat,
she said. Oh, no, Jenny, you're dead. Get away from me, I said with a trembling voice.
But I want some candy,
she said with her dark eyes staring at me. No, I don't have any candy. You go away. Just go away, I exclaimed as I turned and ran into the garage.
I'll come back for the candy,
I thought I heard her say as the door was rolling down. I quickly got into the house, bolted the door, and ran upstairs to my room. I was still shaking as I sat on my bed. I left all the lights on all night and had a hard time sleeping. It's been almost a year now, and Jenny has not made any more appearances. But Halloween is right around the corner. Normally I would be excited this time of year, as Halloween used to be my favourite holiday. But this year, I'm a bit nervous. No, I'm scared as fuck. Thanks for joining me for tonight's tale, Darklings. I am GoblinPrincessKyo, and if you enjoyed our encounter, then subscribe for more accounts and tales from the darker side of life. Ah, the broom fell. Company is coming. Sweet dreams. Meet you back at midnight.